and it turns out it's kind of racist, right? And it's like, "Oh, okay, well, why is the model racist?" And it's like, well, I mean, we trained it with our data. It's like, okay,
Man, we're
so
gonna have the most racist.
what's going on with our data, right? And it's like, well, the data is racist data because I've written about this before where it's like AI is almost like a magnifying glass onto society, right? Depending on the data set you train it with. Now, a lot of people out there are going to be like, yeah, 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 but you can train that out of it. You can change the algorithm. It's the programmer's fault because you can change the algorithm to train that kind of thing out of there. Sure, and that's something that I think GPT or OpenAI and Facebook and some other folks who are creating these and Claude are creating these new models that kind of remove the ick of society from its models, but it still is that data. So it still all comes from the data. So it's like it's kind of six in one, half a dozen in the other. If you don't have the data to train the model's not going to be very good, right? Not to say that a racist model is good; it's not, but you're not even going to know to train that kind of that kind of issue out of it without that data. And so when you give the data to somebody, and you're right, Frank, anybody, any not anybody, but any nation state could technically put enough funding towards a hack to go in and steal as much information as they need to steal in order to start building model. Or you can do it legally and make billions of dollars while doing it, which is the way I see this happening, right? So yes, you're right. It's about they can still steer things. It's still about the outcome is still changing the behavior of the people it's looking at. And so it's a whole new, oh gosh, the movie They, right? That's like what it always comes back to is like where he puts the glasses on and you can see the alien messages and
Yeah.
it's like the subliminal messages. It says obey, be thin, like all these kinds of subliminal messages that are in our society. It's a really cheesy 80s movie, but if you ever get the chance to go watch it, it does have one of the longest and most graphic fight scenes out of any movie that I've ever seen before in my life. Also, it brings up a good point is that we do have these subliminal things happening. Before as a society, all we had to worry about was that it had a catchy tune, it was played a lot on the radio or played a lot on TV. And now what we have to worry about is that think about that, but also now it's able to shift to try to catch your attention based upon your previous behaviors. That's all the data that it's getting from the model that it's creating. And the model is constantly shifting too to try to get you to do something that you might not have otherwise done. So the data and the model to me are very similar things. And I think you and I are saying the same thing. I think maybe where I might have screwed up is I didn't demark between the data and the model.
First of all, you didn't screw up. You did a great job, doctor, and I appreciate all your input. And apologies from this pleb for trying to comprehend. I agree with what you said. There can be dangers in both the data and the model and the combination of the data and the model. And I do think at the same time, it is worth being concerned about because what we're going to hear a lot about is the whataboutism, right? Because if there's one thing that's huge in this society today, it's whataboutism. It's what about this? And I love how people take, oh my gosh, I don't, how why do they do this? Why do they do this? Why do people do whataboutism? Like, I don't know why. You can come with a valid concern of something